saying that we're live, but I'm not seeing us. So give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna have to retry this again. Sorry, folks. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Sheena, Alleyne, your Caribbean College Planner and Student Advisor at the Student Center. I want to thank you those for joining me in the Zoom and those who are going to peep in on Facebook. This is Study Engineering, where we explore all the different fields under engineering and the opportunities available for students who are seeking to pursue studies in this area. So I am not the expert on engineering, none the least. So I have brought my colleagues here to talk about engineering and the different program options, talk about different little aspects and uniqueness of their programs available and what it takes to study at their various institutions, and even some type of job prospects for persons pursuing this field of study. For those of you joining us on Zoom, you're going to remain muted for this presentation, but you can send us any questions that you may have for our panelists via the chat or Q&A option. And joining me on our panel this evening, we have quite a few schools, and some of you may be familiar with them already. We have Sarah Lee and we have Professor Ryan Schroeder from Brock University to talk about their engineering program at Brock. We also have Anita McIntyre from Sheridan College, who's no stranger to our webinars and meeting with students from the Caribbean. We're also joined by Rupi from Northern Alberta Institute of Technology out in Edmonton in Alberta. And hopefully I'll be seeing her soon next month when the Student Center heads out there. And last and definitely not least, we have Kira from George Brown College to also talk to us about engineering opportunities and programs available there. Each panelist will give you a brief presentation and then we're going to have some questions and answer. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to start off first with Brock University. Over to you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sheena. So my name is Ryan Schroeder. I'm an assistant professor at Brock University. And I'm here with my colleague from the recruitment office, Sarah Lee. So we're going to be talking to you a little bit about integrated engineering program today at Brock. I'll just start by talking a little bit about Brock itself. At least if I can get my PowerPoint to work. Okay, there we go. So Brock is actually located in a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. So basically this means that we have a lot of really beautiful nature around us. For example, we're only 20 minutes away from the world famous Niagara Falls, and we're within an hour's reach of Buffalo, New York, just across the border in the US, as well as the metropolitan area in Toronto, also about an hour away. So we're kind of nicely situated about the Lake Ontario area within Canada, within the province of Ontario. So as I say, integrated engineering is actually a new program at Brock. We're really excited about it. There's actually only one of three programs within Canada of having integrated engineering. The other two, for example, are University of Western Ontario and the University of British Columbia, both have integrated engineering programs. But probably the most common question we get about the program is what actually is integrated engineering? So everyone's familiar with mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, some of these more traditional disciplines. Integrated engineering tries to take a little bit from each of the engineering disciplines and put it together in order to teach students how to solve complex interdisciplinary problems or how to optimize engineering systems sort of synergistically, right? So there's a high emphasis on the collaboration and understanding of these different disciplines in order to achieve more comprehensive solutions to modern engineering problems. So it involves integrating knowledge, methods, tools from the multiple disciplines, as I mentioned, and in doing so, leveraging some of the strengths of those disciplines to address the challenges in a more interconnected and efficient way. I'll give you 5 reasons why you should come study integrated engineering at Brock. So one is you're going to develop a really diverse skill set, in particular when compared to a more traditional engineering program, right? So because you're being introduced to all these different disciplines, you're going to be very versatile and have a high level of adaptability in an uncertain job market. Number 2, you're going to develop really strong problem-solving skills. Now, you might say this is common to any engineering program, but in fact, with integrated engineering, you're going to learn how to tackle complex real-world challenges, drawing upon your knowledge from the different fields. It also gives you a lot of career flexibility. You know, a lot of times students going into university, they don't always know exactly what career path they want to take, right? And so a program like integrated engineering is really great because it kind of gives you that broad exposure to what are some of the different options out there, and allows you to take that into the future and say, you know what, I think I'm becoming more interested in this direction, and take that into that direction. There's also a really high industry demand regarding interdisciplinary skills and the ability to work on diverse teams, to tackle challenging problems at the intersection of these different engineering fields. And finally, there's a high earning potential, which is perhaps true of most engineering disciplines, often coming along with a competitive salary. But you know, one of the things we like to say is we're training the future engineering managers, right? And the reason for that is because you're often working on diverse teams of engineers to solve, let's say, to work to develop or design a complex system. That means that with your exposure to the different disciplines, you can communicate on such a diverse team rather easily because you kind of know where they're coming from because you've been exposed to those different elements of the engineering process. There's also a high emphasis we're placing on experiential learning, with things like having a co-op as an optional part of the program. So basically, students are placed with an industry partner to develop real-world experiences, develop their skills, determine networking opportunities, improve career readiness, and explore, let's say, more specialized things, something that interests them, right? In a sort of real-world engineering task and on real-world engineering problems. Now, every engineering program goes through an accreditation process, so ours will be going through that process in the third year of its coming online, which is going to be later this year and this fall. And once that process goes through, essentially students who successfully graduate from the program can go on to apply for their professional engineering licensure with the Professional Engineers of Ontario. That is the regulating and licensing board. And through a successful application, individuals can go on to have a number of career opportunities within Canada. For example, a product development engineer, or an automation and control specialist, or a data analyst, or you can work in consulting or research and development, or even entrepreneurship. I'll just briefly mention some of the other programs that we do have coming online in the next few years. We're hoping for, that's the current plan at least. So we're going to be having some of the more traditional undergraduate programs like civil, mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering, as well as a couple of graduate programs. So both at the master's and PhD levels, all those in sustainable design engineering. From here, I'll let my colleague Sarah take over, and she's going to walk you through some of the admission requirements to the program and to the university.
Thank you, Ryan. So for the admission requirement, because this is an integrated engineering program, so we will require quite a few prerequisites. Please make sure that you have English, 2 maths, chemistry, and physics in your CAPE level. Brian, can you just move to the next slide, please? So the reason why I say that all the prerequisites must be in CAPE level is because majority of our Caribbean students do CSEC and CAPE. And at Brock University, we do require both CSEC and CAPE. So please make sure that all the prerequisites must be in CAPE, at least Unit 1 and minimum grade 4. Again, we understand that a lot of our Caribbean students does not have enough CAPE, but a good thing is that we don't require any SAT or ACT. If you do not meet the prerequisites, what we usually advise to the students is that you can do some online OSSD programs. Can you just move to the next slide, please? So we do have some of the inquiries from Caribbean students asking how the students can meet the prerequisites if they do not have enough in CAPE. So here are some of the online OSSD providers that you can have a look at it, and feel free to choose whichever suit you. And when you apply to Brock, we allow you to apply for up to 3 choices. And here is the chance for you to have some alternative offers if you do not get the offer, your first choice offer at the beginning. Next slide, please. And the last questions that I believe a lot of students are looking for is for the transfer students. Every year we receive a lot of inquiries from students who complete the community college here in Barbados and other Caribbean countries. We do accept transfer students, but for the engineering program, there will be significant restrictions for this year. Since we don't have many upper year courses offer. And I can say, like, here we have our associate professor. We can say, like, any transfer student will need to take the first year engineering courses just to make sure that, like, they can start from the first year and then they can go to upper years. So those are some of the information about our admission requirements. If you need any further questions, please feel free to let us know. I believe this is all the information we want to share with you today about our integrated engineering. Again, this is a very new program, but a lot of potential. We hope that, like, you will be interested and you can apply to Brock. If you have any further if you have any further inquiry, please feel free to contact our Faculty of Engineering. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Schroeder and Sarah. So Brock has an integrated engineering program. It seems to cover all different aspects of engineering. So to me, it has some incentives for those of you who might not yet want to specialize quite yet. And it gives you a broader footing, giving you some versatility in the job market. We all know the high the high earning potential of engineering students. I have quite a few students who are now fully working, and I've seen their salaries and I'm quite jealous. That was not my salary when I first graduated, but I did social science, so that's expected. But but there are good job possibilities in some of the careers that they've entered, very interesting. So we have brought with their integrated engineering programs, with more programs to come from the traditional areas in a couple of years, and even at the graduate level that I see. We're going to move on now to George Brown, who's going to give us look at their program options for engineering. Kira, you're up next. You can go ahead and share your screen. Remember,
Thank
folks.
you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Just give me 1 second to share my screen and I will be ready to.
Remember, those of you in the Zoom, if you have any questions, please use your Q&A and chat option to send us your questions. If you're on Facebook and you have questions, you can put them in the comment section. Thanks for joining us both on Facebook and Zoom.
Just 1 second, I'll switch to the. Here I am. You can see the full screen, right? Can you see the full screen or? Sorry, I can't hear you right now for some reason.
Enter mode, Kira, so you might want to switch it.
Okay, yeah, just 1 second. Sorry, haven't dealt with Doom for a while. Also working with Steam mostly. So now it should be the full view, and I hope this one is not blocking. We're good, right?
You're good to go, Kira. I can see. We can
Okay, thank you. Welcome to George Brown College, and I'm happy to present to you today. Thank you for joining. Our college is a public college, DLI institution, fully accredited and recognized by the government. And we are located downtown Toronto, in the very center of Toronto. And we're pretty global, like, you know, there are good connections to Toronto, direct flights from the Caribbean, from multiple cities. So it's very, very convenient. And studying downtown Toronto, it's also a great opportunity to network, to have your part-time work experience throughout the program. So that's one of the greatest benefits and key reasons to study at George Brown, because you're connected to the industry right in the core of the city. And this is the access to the largest employer base in Canada. Our expert instructors, most of our instructors work in the industry and teach at the college. So they have real life experience. They teach students relevant materials, and we have curriculum for programs developed in cooperation with the industry experts. At this point, we have 27,000 students, and 40% of them are international students from all over the world. More than 100 languages are spoken on campus, and we appreciate and we value the diversity that students from the Caribbean bring to our campus as well. Move? Just one sec. No. Okay, so 3 main campuses downtown Toronto, as I mentioned, and we will be talking today about the programs in engineering technologies and construction and engineering technologies that are located mainly at Casa Loma campus that you can see in the right top corner. In the college, we have 7 academic centers. We offer more than 170 career-focused programs in business, hospitality, construction engineering, as I mentioned, community services, arts, design and IT, and health sciences. We will focus today on construction and engineering technologies, and the credentials we're talking about, it's bachelor's degrees of 4 years, advanced diplomas of 3 years, diplomas, 2-year diplomas, and in some cases, certificates. I won't cover all the details, but you are very welcome to contact me if any of the programs interest you and you need to know more about specific programs. So we're talking today about our Center for Construction and Engineering Technologies, and this center is based, like there are 4 schools forming this center. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a teacher in engineering, so I would like to share a short video clip with our students and our professors talking about the programs to give you an overview about our programs, and you can see the facilities, you can see what you can study at George Brown.
Everybody knows about George Brown College, and everybody has a very high level of respect for the Center for Construction and Engineering Technologies.
You have the sound, right?
I used to take apart toys as a kid. Later, I became interested in how they were made. Mechanical engineering seemed like a natural fit for me.
It's just the idea of creating, of something coming to life. You can think of something, design something, assemble it virtually, and then actually see it come to life in its physicality. There's a real strong sense of accomplishment in that.
I didn't always know what I wanted to do with my life. What it really came down to in the end was finding a career that offered me options.
We serve the community, to the economy of the country, the opportunity to produce something new to the society and to produce something new to the market. Center for Construction and Engineering Technology. Under this umbrella, the main schools, whether related to construction or engineering or architecture or the skilled trades and apprenticeship.
Students have access to hands-on learning in our labs and in our shop facilities, as well as access to faculty who are industry professionals and very skilled at what they do.
Typically, a construction project takes years, and by the end of 2 or 3 years, you can really see all your hard work come to life.
So all done. So this tool is ready to use.
Well, at George Brown, I learned the tools that I needed to immediately start working. It was a very hands-on education, and my first employers recognized that. The latest and greatest technology, so we were able to use the tools that industry was actually using.
Okay, so you say, I'm going to take it here from here.
Okay.
So the push button here is like a block, would block the airflow.
Yes. Industry is a strategic partner at George Brown College. It's a terrific opportunity for us as industry to help mold the kind of students that we're looking for at the end of the day when they graduate and are looking for full-time placement. We work together with the college to ensure that the curriculum stays current.
George Brown will teach you the tools that you need to learn in order to start working right away and be immediately productive on the job.
So that's about an overview of our program sections and program fields, and most of the facilities that you saw, those are our labs and our classes where students have practical training. So the training is very, very hands-on. So switching to admission requirements, I will say that, like, usually it's very good news when people hear, when students or like applicants hear that we don't require CAPE. So you can enter our programs pretty much with your CXC, CSEC levels. And for diploma and advanced diploma programs, we usually require English and mathematics to be 1, 2, or 3. For degree programs, you need to have six core subjects, 6 like units of CSEC with the grades of 1 or 2, including English and mathematics. One of the sciences is desirable, but it's not a cutoff, like if you don't have it, because you will be taking some refreshment courses during the first and second semester while you're in the program. We also offer graduate certificate programs. So based on your either degree or diploma in related field. So depending on the program, usually they require a diploma or degree in the related field and some additional documentation, work experience, resume, employees references, not for all the programs, but for some of the programs that are in high demand, like for already graduate students. So no SATs, no CAPE required. And for example, if you don't meet the requirements for degree programs for an entry, it's convenient that you can enter and you have the credentials for diploma or advanced diplomas. There's always a transfer options, like once you complete 2-year diplomas, you can transfer into the 3rd year of advanced diploma programs. In many cases, there are pathways, and we'll talk about it as we go through the programs. So first school is School of Construction Management, and logically, as colleges were created to serve the needs of the community, as our dean mentioned, like in the video. Definitely, it's no surprise that being in the center of Toronto, as it keeps growing high, growing wide, like, there's a lot of construction happening in the city. We have the full range of construction and architectural programs, and we have diploma programs, 2 years basic level in construction engineering, like to graduate as a technician. There is a technology program, like once you graduate, like with a 3-year advanced diplomas, you can become a technologist in construction engineering or civil engineering. And there's also an option either to study right away 4 years in the degree program, Bachelor of Technology in Construction Management, that will comprise the curriculum of the previous, like, advanced diploma program, and top it up with the knowledge of management on the construction fields in the construction companies. So it's very, very comprehensive, and you can choose your path. That's a convenience of it, depending on your financial needs, depending on your plans, depending on your life choices and everything. You can do 2 years and then top it up with the 3rd or third and fourth years later, or you can go straight into the program that interests you. The length of the program you can choose yourself. We also offer graduate certificate programs of 1 year. Usually it's 3 semesters, 12 consecutive months in building information modeling and construction management for internationally educated professionals. All of those programs, they include practical training in the industry. In those 2 last graduate certificate programs, it's a whole semester. And in construction management, the schedule is actually accommodates the work of the giving an opportunity to students to work during the day. Like, a lot of these classes are scheduled in the evening or over the weekend. So this is kind of a very flexible program for those who have already the previous education in construction management, civil engineering, and want to continue and want to get work experience in Canada in this area. For the School of Architectural Studies, we have the same structure. We have diploma programs, 2 years preparing architectural technicians. So the knowledge in this case, as in the previous case, for example, for construction engineering technician, will be limited to learning everything related to smaller structures, residential and commercial buildings of 2-3 stories. And then architectural technology will top up on that. The first 2 years will be the same as in architectural technician program. And the 3rd year will provide more knowledge and more more relevant information and knowledge and courses to be able to work in the high rises, building the high rises. We also have a 3-year advanced diploma in interior design. It also has some overlap with architectural technology program over the first 2 or 3 semesters, and then it takes its own stream, like focusing on interior design. And the unique part about the architectural technology program, T109, it's a very, very strong preparation. There is a co-op semester in the final semester, which is very competitive, but it can lead you to the connections in the industry, in the top architectural companies in Canada and in Toronto. There are opportunities to transfer credits or to apply right away to the Masters of Architectural degrees in a couple of institutions in the US, or transfer your credits to the Bachelor of Science with Architectural major to Athabasca University, as well as our Bachelor of Construction Technology with some bridging courses. You can also top it up with a degree if you kind of have more multidisciplinary approach or interdisciplinary approach to your career. Also, we have a new program coming up, like for interior design. We have a Bachelor of Interior Design completion opportunity starting this fall, September 2024. And it's 3 semesters that can be done fully online for the graduates of T178, from the graduates of Interior Design program. And they can complete it and receive the degree after, after completion of that program. They can receive a degree in Bachelor of Interior Design. Next school is School of Mechanical Engineering Technologies. We don't have a wide variety of programs, but the programs that we have, they're very, very much in demand by the industry, and graduates of those programs can work in various areas. They can work in automotive industries, they can work in aerospace, they can work in lots of like companies that deal with CNC, precision machining, different types of electromechanical engineering technologies, robotics, building automation, also like working in the construction companies. So the same structure, we have 2-year programs, we have 3-year programs. I mentioned the requirements for entry are the same as I indicated in the beginning, CXC, CSEC levels with 1, 2 or 3, sorry. We don't have any degree program in this field, but there are options like, to transfer your credits into degrees somewhere else. Like, for example, if you check the Ontario transfer, you can see that there are options like, to complete degree at McMaster, York, and some other institutions. So there is always an opportunity to continue your studies and again, structure your studies, finances, and time the way you want, the way it fits the best for you. Graduate certificate program is relatively new in this area. It's been open for a couple of years, I believe. It's a 2-semester, 8 months advanced manufacturing programs for those who also had like actually either diploma or advanced diplomas from other colleges, or they have bachelor degrees or advanced diplomas from their own country. They can also apply to advanced manufacturing program and get the knowledge and the practical training with robotics, like building automation, CNC, like Learn Essentials, hands-on training in these areas. School of Apprenticeship and Skilled Trades. Apprenticeships will not be available to international students, just to clarify it right away, but it's in the name. That's why I mention it. But here we have diploma programs in heating and refrigeration and air conditioning, carpentry and renovation technicians, advanced diplomas in building renovation, also in HVAC. And degree programs, we don't have a specific degree for that, but quite a few advanced diploma programs, they can transfer, they can go with the pathway into our Bachelor of Technology in Construction Management, and also to other institutions through Ontario transfer, as I mentioned earlier. We also offer in this school trade certificates. They're not postgraduate, they're certificates right after high school. They're usually very practical training in like plumbing technique, welding techniques, electrical techniques, and construction techniques programs. And construction techniques programs, as far as I know, we have quite a few university students coming for the second year, taking it over the second year of their studies to have, again, the same practical training, to have opportunities to do some hands-on training in our facilities. So that would be an overview of our programs in engineering. And of course, within the short frame of time, I won't be able to cover the details, but they're pretty good opportunities for employment after graduation. They definitely will be commensurating with your work experience, and the work experience you can also get, and it's a great opportunity to have the work experience while you're still studying through the internship co-op semesters, or just working part-time as a student because your study permit allows you to work part-time. We have all the student services and support that you need to succeed in your career, in your studies. We have academic support, tutoring, transfer advising once you're already in the program to understand like what you need, what kind of GPA you need to successfully transfer your credits to institutions that you choose after graduation. There's this a lot of career support, employment support through our career centers and liaison offices. We have them on each campus, and of course it's very important to visit them, to attend them, to book an appointment with an advisor while you're still a student. It's free services, but it will help you shape your career, shape your resume, help you to figure out where to look for the jobs, and help you find the jobs. They also organize job fairs, there's also applied research opportunities in mechanical engineering technologies and construction engineering technologies, working along with the professionals for specific projects that our industry partners bring to us. International students, we support them through integration services, international student advisors, their student association. They're also athletics, so there are plenty of options, to maintain the good balance in your life. We offer partial merit-based scholarships. We don't have any full scholarships, but partial merit-based scholarships can be available between 1 and 5,000 Canadian dollars after the first semester of studies. You need to be a registered student, and you can apply through your StuView account. The application process is fairly easy. Once you open the program description, read through the program description, like courses, you can see most of the courses are preset. There is not much of the options to do electives. All of the courses from the first semester are pretty much preset for you, but it's pretty convenient because you have to register for your schedule, and you're on the right track to go to the specialization that you've chosen. So application is submitted, you can go through from the program page right away to the application for international student, and it will take you to our portal application, online application for international students, when you submit your application online and upload all the documents. The fees for international students you also can see per year on each program page right here, and program availability for international students you can also check. You see in the bottom of the page that red circle. If it's green, you can apply. If it says it's not available, the program doesn't have intake, for example, in this case, in spring. But if it's red and closed, that means the program reached their capacity. We issued enough offers, and unfortunately, you can only either wait, if the program at some point reopens, or you can apply for the next available intake. And there's no formal deadline for submission of documents and applications. Programs are closed when filled, but lots of programs that are popular, they fill in pretty quickly. So it always makes sense to apply early once the application for that intake starts. Usually it's from 7 to 9 months in advance, and make sure your application is complete. So you upload all the required copies of the documents, your copy of your passport, copy of your CXC. So this way you ensure the fast processing of your application. You don't delay it on back and forth with admission offices, with the request to submit the documents that might be missing. So it's all in your hands to submit the application that is complete, and this way the processing will be way faster. And for today, that's it, but definitely there can be more questions. So I thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. There is my email. We can book an online appointment and discuss your study plans and the options that we have here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kira. Thank you for the different options. So if you just realize with George Brown, there are different areas. There's architecture, there's some in the construction realm, and mechanical engineering realm. You can do a 2-year, 3-year, and in some cases a 4-year degree program. We're going to move on. So thank you, Kira, for your presentation. Rupi from NATE, Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. She's going to talk to us about the engineering options available at NATE. And I just want to say that the Student Center will be at NATE next month. This is our first time going out there, so we're really excited. So follow us on the Student Center, Instagram, Facebook, and the Caribbean College Planner Instagram account, as well as we tour Alberta. Rupi, over to you. Can share your screen.
Thank you, Sheena. Bear with me one moment. Are you able to see the screen?
we can see. You're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone, my name is Rupinder and I work as an international recruiter at NATE. I have been at NATE for almost 10 years now. This is the agenda for the day. Quick introduction to NATE and why choose NATE, and then I will share details of some of our engineering technology programs. So first of all, before we begin, this is where we are located on the map of Canada. We all know where Toronto is, which is in the far east, but we are more central and close to Vancouver in British Columbia. Globally, Alberta has the third largest reserve of oil and gas in the world, and therefore the largest in North America. So the benefits of living in Alberta. There are no provincial sales tax in Alberta, which means you only pay 5% taxes on everything you buy versus other provinces where the sales tax is around 12 to 13%. Alberta pays the highest salaries as compared to other provinces. Health services are free for our international students, and our international students can work 20 hours a week while studying in this program. The minimum salary is $50 Canadian dollars an hour. NATE is a publicly funded post-secondary institution with over 40,000 students. We have around 2,800 plus international students from over 84 different countries, and NATE is one of the leading polytechnics in Canada. You may be wondering why should you consider studying at NATE? Here is some information. The results you see on your screen come from our employer satisfaction results. It shows that over 95% of our employers believe NATE graduates are prepared for the workforce. 100% of the employers stated that they would hire NATE graduates in the future or recommend NATE graduates to others. 90% of our graduates from full-time programs are able to find employment within 9 months of graduating. So what makes NATE unique? Here are some of the reasons why students come and study with us. We offer hands-on education with 50% theory and 50% application to allow students to practice what they study. Our state-of-the-art labs and technology allows our students to get education that mimics the job environment and prepares them for the workforce. Our classroom sizes are small, around 20 to 40 students per class. And so this provides you an opportunity for you to learn closely from your program instructor and lots of time with the technology and equipment that you will be working with. Here's some of the engineering technology programs listed here offered at NATE besides the, jump to the next screen. Besides the very popular computer, civil, architectural, construction, chemical, mechanical that are not listed here, but those are some common programs that we do offer as well. These are all 2-year diploma degree programs. You can visit our website, www.nate.ca, to see an entire list of other programs that are offered. We offer 100 plus programs to our international students. I will not be talking in detail about all of the programs listed here, but some of them, yes, I will share more details. For the rest, you can visit the website or you can connect with us for details. So what's unique about our programs? Our instructors are actually people from the industry. They have not been in the education industry all their life, but they have worked in their respective fields for many years and are now teaching the practical aspect of engineering technologies. Almost all of our engineering technologies are accredited by Technology Accreditation Canada, and some of these are recognized by the International Engineering Alliance under the Sydney Accord as well. So after completing these 2-year programs, you can choose to start working. It's easy to find a job because of our industry partnerships. You will be eligible for a 3-year post-graduation work permit, and then you qualify to apply for immigration. Or if you can also choose to continue to take our Bachelor of Technology program at year 3, so another 2 years to complete your bachelor's degree, or you can transfer to other universities where you can do another 2 or 2.5 years to complete your bachelor's degree. So let's begin. I would like to highlight some of the most unique and why are my screens jumping? Okay, sorry about that. Now I would like to highlight some of the most unique and popular engineering programs at NATE. To begin with, let's talk about nanotechnology. This is a 2-year diploma program that first started in September 2010 and the first one of its kind in Canada. So what is nanotechnology? It is the science and engineering of very small things. 1 nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter. I've also listed the year 1 and 2 courses covered in this program. You get to work in a lab and build tiny devices using high-tech equipment. These are some of the nano-enabled products that you can see on the left side. So how are these devices made? So the classic example is photolithography. Who are in this field or have some basic knowledge, perhaps know what I'm talking about. First, you start with the silicon wafer, then you deposit a thin film of material, then you spin on photoresist. Next, you expose some parts of the photoresist. Then you develop the resist, removing the areas exposed by the light, and then submerge into an acid bath, removing the film that is not protected. The result is that after several layers of this procedure is a device smaller than a hair that you can use. Can you believe that? So this is what you'll be working in this program. You can also see the list of companies where the graduates work after completing this program. So I'm sorry, guys, I click on next and it always jumps 2 screens for some reason. So please, I apologize in advance if it jumps again. Now let's talk about our another unique program at NEET called Instrumentation Engineering Technology. It's about training in industrial measurement and control systems and automation programming. Instrumentation is extremely important due to the need of control and automate processes to improve productivity and safety, conserve energy, and reduce pollution. There is a demand for trained professionals in the instrumentation technology field across industries, ranging from industrial automation and advanced manufacturing to natural resources extraction and environmental monitoring. These are the year 1 and year 2 courses that will be covered in this program. There you go. You can quickly glance at those. And then these are some of the job roles that you can work as after completing this program. You can see there technical sales, instrument and controls technician, control systems integrator. So lots of options there for you.
Really should be called automation. It's gone from the measurement side and now it's kind of evolved into how do you automate anything.
It's a broad range of different things. You kind of have to have knowledge like, miles wide, but more than a couple inches deep, because you kind of have to really understand what's going on, not just memorize what's happening. It helps to be interested in computers too, because a lot of what we do is automation and process control, right? So that relies a lot on microcontrollers and programming them.
The building that I'm in, the Spartan Center, is state-of-the-art. Some of the technology they have in there, the investment into this place has been huge.
NATE's lab technicians have done an amazing job at recreating what you find in industry and putting it in this building.
I find so many different topics in this program interesting that I would feel pretty happy getting into the trade or getting into the engineering side of things.
It's demanding, but it's also really rewarding at the same time because you learn a whole lot.
My big thing is that I don't ever really want to get stuck anywhere. I don't ever want to feel like I'm stuck doing monotonous work. And I think that this field is a good one to grow in.
Over the last 6 months, I've had 4 job offers for out of school. You can work in anywhere from a brewery to shampoo factory to pulp and paper, oil and gas. Pretty much anything that's automated, assembly lines, factories. Like the jobs are really endless for something as broad as instrumentation.
It really should be called automation. It's gone from the measurements.
There you go. So the video for instrumentation technology. We have a very beautiful lab there, as you saw in the video as well. As long as you've successfully completed your CSEC level English, math, chemistry, and physics with grades 1, 2, or 3, you can apply to this program. So another point about NATE is that for all of the diploma programs, you do not need CAPE, but we will accept CSEC as long as you've completed grades, you have grades 1, 2, or 3. Do want to make a note that instrumentation engineering is not offered at a degree level in Canada as of yet. It is a combination of mechanical, electrical process, and computer engineering and IT. For students that like computers, science, and to tinker with things, like to problem solve, for those who would like to become an engineer but not sure which engineering discipline to pick, mechanical, electrical, computer, or chemical. So this is the program for you. You complete 2 years at NATE, you find work right after school. You can continue to do BTech, or you can take a degree at another university. This is a list of some of the employers there where you can find a job. As per an employment survey, the salary is comparable to a 4-year university engineering degree. So this is again a very popular program at NATE. And since Alberta is the third largest oil reserve, makes this program one of the most desired programs at NATE. As a student in the 2-year petroleum engineering diploma program, you'll gain a deep understanding of the latest technologies and techniques used in the exploration, extraction, and production of oil and gas. You will gain hands-on experience through lab-based projects using award-winning drilling simulators and expert industry training. At the same time, you will also learn about the critical importance of sustainability and the role of petroleum engineers in ensuring the responsible and efficient use of our natural resources. So for this, you need CSEC English, Math, and either physics or chemistry, one of these to apply. And you can see by just taking this 2-year diploma program, our previous graduates are already earning around $100,000 a year, which is very, very high. Way above average income in Canada. This is another program, Engineering Design Technology. The annual salary is around $72,000 for this, which makes it very desirable. Again, this program could be a great fit for you if you demonstrate a high attention to detail, have good math and physics skills, enjoy working with computers, you enjoy working in an office environment. An engineering technologist is the practical arm of engineering. Engineering technologists work in partnership with engineers to bring designs from pure theory into reality, developing improvements to existing processes or creating entirely new technologies. In practice, an engineer and an engineering design technologist share a foundation knowledge in math, science, engineering, and design principles. Again, you can see you just need CSEC level, English, Math, and either physics or a science course in your CSEC level. The last program here that I have for you is Geomatics Engineering Technologist. So geometric technologists, they carry out or take part in field surveys, office calculations, planning. They search for the exact locations on the Earth's surface, underground, underwater. It is very much outdoors. And who is this? Is this for you? If this program is for you, if you enjoy being outside, problem solving, jumping screens is not helping me, I apologize. You enjoy using newest technologies, and some skills that you need are, some skills needed are pick up important details in drawings, physically fit is very important, working in a team is again very important, and you need to have an aptitude for math. Geomatics engineering at NATE, it's a 2-year diploma, guarantees minimum of 1 field day per semester, which means that there are 4 semesters in a 2-year program, lots of summer job opportunities, and 100% employment rate, and an average salary of $66,000 after you graduate with a 2-year diploma program. So when I'm talking about the average salaries, it's always the 2-year diploma programs. And there you go. If you have any questions, you can connect with us. You can book an appointment by going to nate.ca/INTL-recruiter, or you can send me an email at rupinderp@nate.ca. And I'm done, Sheena. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupi. So that was quite interesting. So if we take it all back what we've seen so far, if I'm not sure but I want to do engineering, maybe I can look at Brock and do their integrative. If I want to get in maybe to construction architecture, I can probably tap back at George Brown there. Depending, I can do a 2-year, 3-year, or maybe possibly their 4-year. And if I want to get in, a lot of what you said kind of relates to the oil and gas field a bit, and also to environmental type stuff. So and knowing some of the incentives of being in Alberta, we can look at the petroleum, we can look at the geomatics there, and the instrumentation one I've never heard about that one, so that one is definitely very interesting. So we have something for everybody, depending whether you're coming from CSEC only, CSEC plus CAPE, or A-level IB, or if you have state college credentials, there is something for you. And definitely we're moving on to Sheridan College. Last and definitely not least, we have Anita who's going to end our presentation component before we put a few questions out there to our panel. Hi, Anita, over to you. You can share your screen.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, just give me a second to share my screen. Okay. Try that again.
And while Anita prepares her screen, please note that all these schools are listed on the CutFast platform. You can visit Brock, you can visit George Brown, you can visit Northern Alberta Institute of Technology via the CutFast. You can even send messages to the reps that you are seeing right now via the contact form located on their various dedicated pages. So www.cutfastinternational.com. I'm going to drop that link inside on the chat here in Zoom and on our Facebook. And you can also now apply to these schools via CutFast. Please note that we have a few application fee waivers in place for some of the schools listed here today. As you're ready, Anita.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you can see my screen there. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce you to Sheridan College's engineering program. So our Faculty of Applied Science and Technology, we call it FAST for short, really provides you with practical, hands-on learning opportunities that can be carried from the classroom into the workforce. So our high-intensity and industry-renowned programs equip students with all the relevant knowledge and real-world problem-solving skills. So a little bit about our curriculums and labs. So curriculum delivery is facilitated by our professors who have combined industrial and academic experience. Students learn to apply engineering principles and methods and techniques to conceive, design, implement, and operate value-added engineering products. Our programs really embrace project-based learning opportunities that really prepare you for real-world life challenges. We have state-of-the-art labs and facilities. Students also do a great capstone project. So we have quite a few different types of engineering programs. So at the degree level, so we offer a 4-year bachelor degree in electrical engineering as well as mechanical engineering. So theory is definitely important, but so is the opportunity to actually put that into practice. So our electrical engineering degree program is one of the few in Canada that embrace the CDIO initiative, which stands for Conceive, Design, Implement, and Operate. So what that means is you'll actually spend up to 50% of your class time actually working in labs. And that's a really key thing to point out. So by using the systems you're going to build, you're going to learn what it takes to imagine and develop user-friendly solutions. In 3rd and 4th years of the electrical engineering degree program, you'll have the opportunity to specialize in one of the 2 technical streams, energy or mechatronics. Our program also offers a 4-month internship after your 2nd year. And then you also have the option of doing a co-op work term for up to 16 months after your 3rd year. So again, loads of real hands-on work experience, which is something that is really important that I want to highlight. Our mechanical engineering degree, again, very few engineering programs in Canada will give you the same level of hands-on experience with industry standard advanced technology. So again, you're going to practice finding solutions to real world problems in the program. Sheridan labs are really state of the art. You're going to get a degree that really prepares you to work with 3D printers, robotics, rapid prototyping, integrated energy systems, including solar, wind, geothermal, HVAC systems. So again, this program also has the internship component as well, and you'll also have the opportunity to choose one of those specialized technical streams as well. And whether you choose to specialize either in energy or mechatronics, you'll be learning skills that are really in high demand. We also offer 2-year diplomas and 3-year advanced diplomas in the following areas. So we have chemical engineering. So you can do that as 2-year is the technician and 3-year is the technology. So for chemical engineering, you'll work directly with state-of-the-art chemical engineering lab equipment, providing you with the advanced skills that are sought for after the industry. Our chemical engineering program, again, has the option of the co-op if you choose the 3-year stream as well. The computer engineering, again, we have computer engineering technician technology. And again, I want to mention for all of these programs, when you graduate, you will have completed all the academic requirements for the professional certification with the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists. So that's important to note as well. And then, of course, we also have a lot of pathway options. So you'll be able to transfer if you take the 2-year into our 3rd year. You can look at our 4-year degree programs, or even if you're looking at other institutions that you may want to transfer to at a later time. We have electrical engineering, electromechanical, which really brings the worlds of electrical engineering and mechanical engineering together, right? So after studying kind of general mechanical engineering concepts in your 1st year, you can then focus on programmable logic controllers and robotics in your final 2 semesters. So when you graduate, you'll be qualified to help design, install, maintain, operate, supervise electromechanical systems. We also have electronics engineering, which again, in high demand. So really in 2 years, you could be job ready as an electronics engineering technician. So again, in your 1st year, you'll learn more of the fundamental skills and concepts in electricity, electronics, digital principles, computers, and programming. And then you'll apply that knowledge in your 2nd year of studies. Then we also have, again, mechanical engineering at the diploma level, and then mechanical engineering with the focus of design. A little bit about our admission requirements. It does vary depending on the program, but in general, if you're looking to apply to any of our diplomas or advanced diplomas, we are looking at a minimum of 5 CSEC subjects. You require English and math for all of the programs. If you're interested in chemical engineering, you would require a chemistry, okay? For the degree programs, we require a minimum of 6 CSEC subjects. CAPE is preferred in especially if you're looking at the degree programs, but we will take students after CSEC. You do need English, you need 2 maths, you need physics and chemistry. For the diploma programs, we're looking at CSEC grades 1 to 3. If you have CAPE, we're looking at grades 1 to 4 for admission into these programs. I know we're kind of tight on time and I wanted to leave lots of time for questions. I just did have some photos here that I'm just going to quickly kind of just go through some of the slides just so you can see some of the photos here. Just so you can kind of get a sense of our facilities. And again, this is our ABB robotics lab. So dynamics. So really what I want to stress is, and you'll find that, you know, colleges are really, really designed to really give you a lot of that hands-on practical education. So I'm going to just pass it back to Sheena because I know we're a little over time and I just want to leave time for questions. So I will stop sharing my screen and pass it over to you.
Thanks so much, Anita. So every school that we've seen has their uniqueness about them. With Sheridan, one of the only ones with the chemical engineering available, and your 2 bachelor degree programs in mechanical and also electrical. And it's good news for persons from the Caribbean that may not want to take CAPE. So you have to make sure that those grades are really up to par. So 6 CSET subjects if you're looking for direct entry into the degree programs, and I usually recommend that in the core subjects that grade 1s and 2s that you will look to do. Now I'm going to get straight into some important questions, and we know that Canada, since you're all Canadian schools and Canada has some new regulations coming in, are all of your programs that you've spoken about PAL eligible?
Yes, I can say confirm that for Sheridan.
What about?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They are PAL eligible for George Brown, for Nate, Sheridan, and for Brock. Because I know that
Whatever we present for sure, like, if there is anything on the website that, you have questions about, definitely it's better to check before you submit the application.
right, because I know that some schools have lists with programs that are not PAL eligible. This is excluding those who might have master's degrees and doctoral degrees, but there's some at the post-secondary level that may not be PAL eligible. So thanks for letting us know that with engineering there, that's not much of an issue. I have a question specific for Brock. So Sarah, I know that you said that there are supplements online math courses that persons can take, but the reality is that many students don't have time to take them. Is there a way for them to still apply and take the math and then apply to progress into the integrated engineering program?
Like from the recruitment perspective, I would say no, because it's like, Brock is a university, and that's the reason why we usually require like higher requirements than other institutions. And I understand that like a lot of Caribbean students don't have enough math to do it. But because today we have Ryan, so maybe we can ask Ryan if like in the faculty side of it, is there any other options that Faculty of Engineering can be more flexible with students who haven't completed math? Ryan, can you just help me with that one?
I'm not aware of any other options at this moment. Of course, it is engineering. It is a very math heavy program. So yes, as far as I'm aware, there's no other path if you don't have those requirements to apply ahead of time.
Right. So math is required. Would you take them with CSAT additional math? So if they have the CSAT math and then they have the additional math, which is like at the algebra.
So for our requirement, all the prerequisites must be in CAPE, at least Unit 1. So we don't accept CSEC, to be honest. I know some of the students say that they did math in CSEC, but we need CAPE at least in Unit 1.
Level. Okay. All right. We had a question in the Q&A asking what a PAL was. So excuse me and forgive me, is the provincial attestation letter that is now required for persons pursuing post-secondary education in Canada. So anything at the undergraduate level, whether it's a diploma or a bachelor's degree, you will be required now. So one time you will get your offer letter, and once you pay your deposit, you could go ahead to the study permit application process. Now that is no longer the case for Canada. You will be required to have been issued a provincial attestation letter. And to get this, I'm just going to summarize because every school has different variances, but this is the policy we have at the Student Center. You must have paid semester 1 fees. It would be good if you also pay your deposit for housing, so you could secure housing as well. Because remember that the financial requirement for Canada has been increased, so not just your tuition and $10,000 anymore is tuition plus 20,000 Canadian dollars. So to help circumvent that, this is what we recommend students to have. So pay your semester one fees, apply for housing, pay your deposits, have your receipts ready to show. And then once you have gone through this course, especially with paying the semester one fees for tuition, school will then take that chance to issue a PAL because PALs are limited. There's not an unlimited amount of PALs. And you can't just take a PAL and ask for a deferral. So those days are done. You have to be sure. So there are some new rules governing how you apply to study in Canada. And this does not suggest that Canada doesn't want any students, but it's just regulating the flows of students and to ensure that you are genuine students come into Canada. We are aware of all the incentives that Canada has to offer. And so it's just ensuring that you are protected as a student and you're coming to the schools as a genuine student. So therefore, this process, this preparation process you take, whether you come to webinars, come to fairs, you have to be a little bit more sure. Can't be applying to like 10 and 12 schools like before. That's not recommended. Those days are finished. So you do your homework better, you research better, and you have your finances planned better when you are going through this process. So no, gone are those days where you can be swishing all over the place. No, you have to be a bit more sure. So today we would have had quite a number of options here. One of the questions, you're very welcome, Rain. So for engineering, we know it has a lot of good employment possibilities. I want to understand how the co-op works a little bit. So could you, if any of you could jump in and talk to us how your co-op will work. Does Brock have a co-op with that integrated engineering as well? Okay, so how would the co-op work for students who are looking at engineering and some of the companies? I know you looked at a few, but if you want to give us an example, anyone can jump in at this time. Don't be shy.
I can go.
Okay,
So, so co-op at NATE, for most of the engineering programs, you have the co-op option. For some, it is mandatory, and for some, it's not mandatory, it's an option. You do have to let us know of your intention at the time when you're submitting your application, because if you're interested in the co-op option, you just have to let us know in advance, because you do have to apply for a co-op work permit along with the study permit to be able to work. And how it works is that after you've completed the first 2 semesters, which is your year, for mandatory programs, mandatory co-op options, the instructors will help you find an employer and get a job or a work placement. But for options where it is an option and it is not mandatory, it's up to the student after having completed the 2 semesters. They will find the employer, they will find the job opportunity, and they get to work 15 weeks at least, a minimum of 15 weeks. And most of the time, for 90% of our programs, it is a paid option.
So if it isn't paid, so is there a possibility that a co-op could be unpaid?
Yes, for example, we have our culinary arts program and our health sciences programs where it is mandatory for them to be working in a clinic. It's a part of the program. And for culinary arts, they're working in a restaurant. So it has its own five dine restaurant called Ernest. And our students work in that restaurant because it is part of the curriculum. They're learning the skills. It is not a paid option. But for others, yes, it is.
I have go ahead, Anita, sorry.
I was just going to add, all of our degree programs have a mandatory internship component. Our 2-year diploma programs do not have co-op, but all of our 3-year advanced diplomas do have co-op. Majority of them are all paid. If you are in a co-op based program, you would have a co-op advisor that actually helps you in securing your co-op placement. The semester prior to your first co-op work term, you actually take a course to prepare you for the co-op. Again, how to do proper resume, cover, interview skills, what the expectations are. So they really do prepare you the semester in advance. So some of the programs that we have at the diploma, advanced diploma levels, if you are interested in the co-op option, please choose the 3-year technology co-op based option, because that's where it gives you the co-op.
Okay, thanks for that. So remember, folks, 3-year programs technically for some schools is definitely a co-op. 2-year may not have a co-op. Your bachelor degree programs tend to have some kind of work placement, internship, or co-op option, and co-ops can be paid or unpaid. Yes, Kira.
Yeah, for George Brown, I would say we have a very similar structure as Anayata described. So in our degree program, it's a mandatory co-op semester. The requirements for it, like it's mandatory and it should be paid, but like you need to keep in mind that you need a minimum GPA like 2.7 or 3.0 to make sure that, like, you know, once you go to our best partners for co-op, like, you know, you represent George Brown as a good quality student. In 3-year advanced diplomas, the co-op might have a form of internship, like in the final semesters at the in the industry, or it might take a form over the final year of 2 semesters or 3 semesters working on a capstone project, which is like applied research project or some project that are sent to us by employers. And technically they can be working in the facilities of the college using the equipment, machinery, appliances and everything, but they will be doing specific research, applied research, or like doing specific work for our employers. So it can be paid or unpaid depending on conditions, and our industry liaison officers, like, you know, they also like help to find this and placements to make sure they're well prepared for that. That's usually a semester before co-op, like there's a co-op preparation course. 2-year program, they're usually too short to include co-op, but in those cases, there's a lot of practical training happening in the labs. And as we mentioned, like, you know, part-time option to work part-time up to 20 hours per week can be used to gain the experience in Canada as well as co-op later on.
Professor Schroeder, tell us about co-op in your programs at Brock.
Yeah, actually I have a couple of slides. Is it okay if I share my screen again, or?
Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so we in our integrated engineering program, we're planning to have 2 co-op options. Basically, one option where after your 3rd year of doing the typical coursework, you would move on to the co-op in year 4 through the spring, fall, winter, and then spring of year 5 again, and then you'd return for the final year of your coursework in that year 5. And then option 2, you'd be sort of splitting it up. So instead of having one big chunk in around year 4, you'd do half of the year in year 3 and then half of the year in year 5. And you asked about companies. We are still in developing all these options, right? Because the program is new. So many of the details are still to be figured out. But just to give a sampling of some of the companies who have already sort of given their support and sort of expressed a high interest, because frankly, we haven't had engineering in our Niagara region until now. So there are a lot of companies who are kind of eager to get working with some of the students. So you can see there's a lot of different companies and partners who are interested to work in the program. So like Norgan Biotech, and there's the Vineland Research Innovation Center. We have transport companies and construction companies and all kinds of things. So that's kind of what we're planning right now.
Okay. Well, that sounds exciting. And strategically, if I'm still looking for engineering program, and I know you guys are going to do your best to ensure our students are well trained and prepared and have a good journey with you guys. So this might be advantageous to some persons to consider the integrative, because you can specialize widely and broadly. And I have a follow-up question, Professor Schroeder. So after I complete my integrated engineering degree program, when it comes to licensure, will that program allow me to meet the requirements?
Yes, so it will. So that's what I was mentioning before in my presentation is we'll have our first accreditation evaluation that would be coming 3 years down the line after the program begins. So let's say the program begins this fall in 24. That means that accreditation will be happening in 27. Now, accreditation isn't only for new programs. It's all the engineering programs in Canada, or every number of years, are going through accreditation. So it's not unique in that respect. The only difference is it'll be our first one. But our chair in our department has been through a number of these processes, so we don't expect there to be any problems. And essentially, so long as all of that goes through, if you're a student going through that program, you can apply for your professional engineering license with the Professional Engineers of Ontario following your graduation. There's also an experience component to that application. So in addition to the undergraduate degree, you also need to have about 4 years of experience in engineering field before you can apply. And certainly things like the co-op represent some examples of that experience that you can accrue in that time period. But after that time point, you can apply for your professional engineering licensing in Ontario.
Okay, great. And my final question for this evening, I know we've gone over time, but how many of you, are all of you still taking applications for these programs for September 2024? All right. Okay. So folks, I want to firstly thank all the panelists for bringing their presentation, for providing us with this information, exploring all the different engineering programs. We had Brock, we had George Brown College, we had Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, known as NATE, and we also had Sheridan College. So we had Alberta and Ontario here today, and giving us quite a few things to think about, a lot of uniqueness. So if you have 2 years worth of money, there are programs for you. If you have 3 years worth of money, they have programs for you. And you have 4 years worth, there are programs for you as well. So for every different budget, and also academic capabilities. So if you only have CSET, there are options for you. CSET, CAPE, plus or IB or A levels, there are options for you as well. And there are options for students who are in community college who would have had some post-secondary experience. There are options for you to transfer in as well. All these schools are listed on the CutFast International website, www.cutfastinternational.com. They each have dedicated pages, and you can explore their pages, you can contact the representatives, and you can apply to up to 3 schools via the CutFast platform. Right now, we have a couple application fee waivers still available for some of the schools this evening, so definitely check us out. So I want to thank everyone who joined us on Zoom, those who peeked in on Facebook. We really appreciate your time. I know we've gone over a little bit longer than usual, but this was too much information to just keep it within an hour, and engineering is not an easy course, so this was not going to be a very simple webinar. So I want to thank all of our guest panelists, Professor Schroeder especially. I know is time for you to take off the clock. So I really thank you for your time spent with us. And hopefully once again, I can get out to Brock at some point. But hopefully to tour. I toured Brock before, but it's been a while. So it might be time to bring my face back there again. But the Student Center will be in Alberta in May. So definitely follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. You can follow me, Caribbean College Planner, on Instagram as well, as I document and vlog my trip to Edmonton and Calgary. Those are the 2 stops that I'm making next month. Have a good evening, folks. We'll be back next week. We have Huron with their college prep camp if you want to do summer camp. And we also have Sheridan next week. So have a good evening, folks. Take care. Goodbye for now.
Thank you very much.